Good morning, I'm Derek Hankerson with FirstCoast.tv. This morning, we're stopping by Sue A. Middleton's Archaeological Center to visit with Misha Johns and Carl Halbert, the City of St. Augustine's archaeologist. Today, we have a fascinating conversation with Misha and Carl on some of the archaeological digs that they have uncovered in the City of St. Augustine. So let me ask you, Carl, how did you get into archaeology? What fascinated you about archaeology?
Oh, I got confused when I was a little boy.
Okay.
I read a lot of books, and I was really into dinosaurs.
Right.
And so what they did was the people who were writing these books confused archaeologists with paleontologists.
As they still do.
And so I said, oh, I want to become an archaeologist, because I was interested in dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, right.
But later on, I realized that no, the two words are not equivalent, and so since high school, I was interested in doing archaeology. Wow. So it's just been a passion of mine, and something that's carried forward for 50 years. You got our items of clothing that dating back to the 1700s. Here's religious items right here. A crucifix, which Jesus still kind of represented, and here's a pair of scissors.
So
that is incredible.
They would load a couple hundred of those into a cannon and fire it like a shotgun.
Yeah,
and that would ruin your day.
Murex, and this would have been used as a hammer. Mm-hmm. They or some type of digging tool. You can see that this end is really broken out a lot. Right. This is a conch shell. Mm-hmm. But you can see they've actually intentionally worked it, mm-hmm. and they're getting ready to do something with it, but then they broke it, mm-hmm. Or something happened, so they just threw it away.
When you bring what you find in the field back to the office, mm-hmm. and you wash it off and put it in mm-hmm. this configuration, right. How do you find out what piece it was, or what piece it is, or what piece it's used for? Do you open up a book and look at the various different shells, or do you base it on your research?
We rely initially on what previous work has done. All right, and a lot of the ceramics that we have here have been identified decades before we've come even into the picture. This type of pottery was found at the site of the Menendez encampment.
Uh-huh.
All right, so this would be, and those Native Americans were identified by the Spanish. Now, they didn't identify themselves as Timucua, but the Spanish called them Timucua. Now, this piece right here, this is pretty rare here in St. Augustine. It's actually a piece of chipped stone. Mm-hmm. And chipped stone does not occur naturally here in the St. Augustine area. It has to be imported.
Mm-hmm. How do you figure out the sites where you're planning to dig?
It's all based on new construction. So if a project involves ground penetrating activities, exceeds certain size specifications, and occurs within an archaeological zone, then the city needs to come in and investigate the property. So, over the past, since the city adopted its archaeological ordinance in 1987, we've done
over 750.
Over 750 projects.
Wow.
City, and just think of the information that would have been lost had the city not had that archaeological ordinance in place. So,
but that makes sense, because Richard III was just found in a parking lot.
Right.
Shakespeare's first theater was found in a development, so it makes all the sense in the world.
When you look at these maps like this, every single one of these squares is somebody's house. That's their yard.
Right.
But when you look at the whole thing, you see, we have all these. This is, what was this? Over 3,000 years old.
Yeah,
This is all
prehistoric.
Yeah, and so this is all. I mean, you're not just looking at one site, looking at that. It's the whole area. The big thing archaeology finds is trash. We look at trash. We are the people who sift through ancient trash. That is our thing. So a lot of what we're looking at is found in trash pits.
You were saying earlier how our history, most people see our history above ground. This is an opportunity working here with you, Carl, to see St. Augustine from a different prism or a different perspective. I get a lot of goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps from just being here and touching these things. This is pretty neat.
What people communicate is what people can see.
That's right.
And so if you can't see the archaeology, how
And you
can
can't communicate. What has been your most unique discovery or dig?
Probably the most unique or bizarre archaeological discovery was our disarticulated donkey. And what it was it was a donkey burial where they literally removed the limbs from the torso.
Archaeology, history are not the most exciting, but it's people like you who make it exciting, who make it fun, make it enjoyable.